Hello, this is Brett Williams. I'm the author of High Octane Damnation, Family Business, and From Murky Depths. Also, I am the author of Shackjob, which appears in the Perpetual Motion Machine Publishing anthology Long Distance Drunks, a tribute to Charles Bukowski. With me here today is Eddie Blue. He's my Jack Russell Terrier. He wants the laser pointer and the treats that I brought. So anyway, we're here today. I'm going to read Shackjob. That appears, like I said, in the anthology from Perpetual Motion Machine Publishing. And so, Eddie, you want to hear Shackjob? You do? You just want the laser pointer? You want the laser pointer? Freaking dog. Come on, Eddie. Alright, let's read Shackjob. Alright, Shackjob, Chapter 1. Rarely does luck find me, but occasionally it happens. If you call finding a job luck. There I sat, taking hit after hit of beer, spending the last... Eddie, get off the table. Shit. Come on. Alright, let me start all over. Okay, Shackjob. Rarely does luck find me, but occasionally it happens. If you call finding a job luck. There I sat, taking hit after hit of beer, spending the last few dollars to my name, winnings from earlier at the racetrack. The guy next to me, a guy who looked to be detoured between work and home, some unhappy office type, asked me, "So what do you do, buddy?" As little as possible. "No, really, what do you do? You know, for a living, to make ends meet." My ends rarely meet. When I didn't offer more information about myself, the guy started boring me with the details of his overworked, underappreciated existence. All I wanted to do was get shit-faced so I wouldn't have to think about mine. The way he summed everything up, it made me want to quit his job and leave his family. So when I took a breather from his mad rant to drown my sorrows, I felt compelled to answer his original question. "I'm a painter." "No shit, you don't look like a painter. You don't have any paint splatters that I can see anyhow." "Not a painter with paint, a painter with words." Right, Eddie? "A writer? You could say that." "Interesting. So what's your name? Maybe I heard of you." "Doubtful." Go on, tell me." "Chuck Becker." Doesn't ring a bell. Never does. I flagged the barkeep for another beer. "So, what do you paint?" "Poems, short stories, novellas, the occasional bedroom, house, or detached garage." "Really? So you are a painter?" "That's what I said." "You know, I've been trying to get my mother to repaint our guest house, but I can't seem to do it. Social Security isn't what it used to be. She got her house repainted a couple years back and opted not to paint the guest house at the time. Cost too much, she said. Well, the place is going to rot away if she doesn't get it done soon. Don't know why she doesn't rent the place out. It isn't like my sisters visit her anymore." "Say, how cheap do you work, Becker?" "Cheap," I said, a plan already beginning to form. "This place is a real cracker box." Right, Eddie? A real cracker box. 500 square feet tops. Wouldn't take long. Are you interested? Would your mother be interested in a tenant? I'd need to call and ask. You call. I'll visit the crapper. Alright, Chapter 2. This is a pretty freaking long story. This is the longest one in the anthology. Chapter 2. "What do you mean you're leaving?" "I'm leaving." "Leaving? Leaving? You can't leave me. You've no place to go." Where did you put my suitcase? I threw it out! I'll put my clothes in a sack. Where are the plastic bags? Under the sink? I threw all your shirts away a week ago. The new ones. I bought 2 at the thrift store. I've got another pair of pants around here somewhere. They're in the wash. You can't leave. That woman couldn't fool me. The washer hadn't worked for weeks. I found my pants on the bathroom floor, right where I had left them. The shirts weren't far away. I left carrying my diaper in one hand and a tote sack full of dirty laundry in the other. All the possessions I needed to start over anew. My now ex-old lady, still screaming at me, started tossing all my worldly possessions out on the lawn. I expected to see neighbors watching the ruckus from their porches like usual, but something good must have been airing on TV. Perhaps the World Series or Super Bowl or live footage of cops in high-speed pursuit, or they had simply become immune to that crazy woman's outbursts. I made a mental note to swing by later when she was around to gather up my books. To hell with everything else. Although me and the drunk named Bill Weatherly or Weatherton or Weathers something had made arrangements for me to paint his mother's guest house in exchange for 1 month free rent, I had yet to see the place, let alone move in. In fact, all I had was Bill's phone number and my new address, both written on a napkin. I double-checked that I hadn't lost the information. I didn't. Bill, in good graces, had picked up the bar tab, which left me with little extra money in my pocket. With a little more luck, the money should prove sufficient to allow me to celebrate my newfound freedom before slipping off into oblivion somewhere on a park bench. If it started to rain, I could always sleep in the back of my Golf. I went straight to the closest bar. A stench of piss, vomit, and hops permeated the place. I felt right at home. But now it was getting late, so I guzzled like there was no tomorrow. Actually, I guzzled like there was a tomorrow. For tomorrow I foresaw an eternity of freedom, the good life, as they say, at least a month's worth. I had drank enough to notice a beautiful woman, a dye-job redhead, I was sure, and found myself longing for confirmation of the dye job. First, I ordered myself another beer because, face it, I had yet to consume enough to ignore my obvious clouded judgment. Women like her, like I saw sitting there eyeing me from the end of the bar, rarely, if ever, in a million years, frequented shitholes like this. Buy me a drink, she asked. I did. We got to talking and drinking. She became more lovely and witty, as did I the longer we sat there. You have soulful eyes, she said. Does the carpet match the drapes, I asked. Buy me another drink, maybe you'll find out. Got a light? Yes. Got a cigarette? Sure. Bartender, another drink for the lady. The conversation became a blur. Chapter 3. Chapter 3, Eddie, are you listening? Come here. You're supposed to be up here listening. I'm reading a story to you. You know, some of you guys might listen to it. I don't know. Come on, Eddie. Alright, Chapter 3. Blur gave way to blinding, throbbing light. My bowels protested. Floodgates of a brewing beer shit threatened to burst open. But before I could head to the crapper, I needed to right my bearings. The room in which I had awoke reminded me of none I could recall. Certainly not the walls of my most recent bedroom, of the house I had moved out from the night before. A body lay beside me. It moved with shallow breath, a good sign. Once I had awakened to a woman drowned in her own vomit. In her own vomit, Eddie, goddamn, shit. A good No, that's not a good sign. I don't recommend doing that. I don't. Shit, that would fucking suck. Alright, so I don't recommend doing that. I do recommend remembering where the fuck you're at in this story. Instead, a cool breeze from an open window prickled my skin. A ray of sunlight streamed through the window to pour across glowing red hair. The bedsheet pulled back as I rose out of bed. A tangle of dishwater blonde hair matted in desperate attempt to conceal the woman's cunt. I wonder how many times the word cunt's going to show up in this anthology. That should be a freaking trivia question for a prize. Right, Eddie? Right. Here. Alright, so, alright, she's laying there by me, and there's her freaking cunt. And she had cottage cheese ass and a small pot belly. Her jugs hadn't deflated as much as my XO ladies cans, so I silently applauded myself for betting her the night before. It took a moment to locate the crapper. There, I loosed the floodgates and relieved myself. A nearby plunger came in handy. I returned to find Red smoking a cigarette in bed. I bummed a smoke. Nice place you have here, I said. Not half bad. Got any beer in the fridge? How about bacon and eggs? Or do you want another ride on the purple pickle first? She stubbed out her cigarette in a nearby ashtray. How should I know? This is your place. She pulled down the sheet. Her body reminded me of dirty snow. The smile upon her plain but youthful face told me she wanted another ride. We spent the next 15 minutes working up a good sweat before sharing a cigarette. You sure this isn't your place? I asked, pulling on my pants. Pretty sure. You still buzzed? No, Never mind. This is your place, right? It all came rushing back to me. Yeah, sure, I just moved in. Lost your key pretty quick, Red said. Haven't got a key yet. That's why we entered through the window. Thank God it wasn't locked. No shit. You don't fuck half bad for an old guy. You don't fuck like a redhead. Luckily, my cock doesn't discriminate. Hey, what do you mean by... A knock at the front door interrupted our conversation. I went to answer the door. An old lady wearing curlers and robes stood outside. Can I help you? She asked. You're the painter old Sonny told me about, I reckon. Or should I call the cops? I'm the painter. Sonny told me you'd be coming around sometime today, not last night. Well, I'm a bit early. Right? I'm a bit early. Shit. I'm a bit early, I suppose, but I didn't get here until after midnight. Figured there was no reason to wake you. Sonny says you're a writer. Never heard of Charlie Beckman before. Chuck Becker. Well, I'm Geraldine Weatherton. You can call me Jerry. Hello, Jerry, Red said as she came up behind me. Sonny didn't mention anything about a wife or girlfriend. Red here is a honky-tonk special. She was just leaving. She was just leaving, Eddie. She was just leaving. Where the hell am I? She was just leaving. An elbow jabbed my ribs. This old cooter's a writer, Red asked. That's what my Sonny tells me. Well, I wrote a dirty limerick or two. Once there was a redhead from Nantucket who liked to drink beer from a bucket. When she wasn't in heat but needed some meat, she'd unzip my fly and, whoa, lordy, Eddie, George. Not Eddie, shit. Oh, lordy, Jerry said. That'll be enough of that. I'll let you two get settled in. I'll let you get settled in. I'll let you get a freaking treat. You want a treat? I'll let you get a treat. Alright. I'll let you get a treat. Settle in. Get you settled in and have a treat. Alright? Shit. That freaking dog's so cute. Alright. Alright. Ah, dang, the freaking laptop went... Damn. That laptop went goofy on me. Alright, we got settled in. Here's the key. Sonny will be by after work with the paint. No loud noise after 10. Park in the alley. Rent is due on the 1st, not the 2nd or 3rd. The 1st. No pets? Oh, and no yard privileges included or implied. No problem. I shut the door, turned to red. Never fucked a writer before. My cock works the same as everyone else's. I should say, you make good money writing? Good enough to allow me to paint houses. I looked at her for a moment, waiting for her to head out the door. She was dressed in her whore outfit from the night before. It was wrinkled and smelled of cigarette smoke. When she didn't move, I asked her, "Are you hungry?" "No, I'm in heat." She jokingly pawed my crotch. "I could use a drink at the very least. Let's check the fridge. Cross your fingers." We found it warm and empty. Shit. You got any money?" she asked. "A little." "The liquor store should be open soon." I hurried her to the door. "Don't come back empty-handed. I like beer, wine, rum, and vodka. Bacon and eggs would be nice." Bacon and eggs is always nice, Eddie. Yeah. Alright, chapter 4. Now, this is a freaking long one. This is the longest one in the anthology. And my throat's already getting kind of a little bit dry. Okay, number 4. Chapter 4. I fully expected never to see that woman again. So, needing money, I took my last couple bucks to the racetrack, hoping to work a miracle. I've developed many schemes over the years for picking horses, including my most recent creation, which had worked quite well the day before. I didn't need to use that horse racing system until the 3rd race because Tony Too Small Pirelli, a jockey I had bumped into in the crapper a month before, tipped me off that the fix was in on the 2nd race. Don't ask questions, don't say a word, simply bet hot to trot to win. Too Small had read some of my poetry and liked what he read. Somehow one night, Too Small and a group of dumbfuck bohemians at Lester's Coffee Corner had followed me home after reading. Apparently a couple of Luke Bohemians, blondes, had taken kindly to the little fella. Not that I recalled much of what happened, but Too Small had decided I was tip-worthy. Yay, tip-worthy. Alright, I bet and I won. I used my new system to increase my winnings. And I returned to my new home later that day with beer, wine, and a bag full of groceries. I found Red smoking a cigarette in the living room. The place was small. Tiny living room, tinier eating and kitchen, bedroom, bathroom. "How'd you get in?" I asked. "I locked the door." "You left the window open." "Oh." She had bought groceries, breakfast stuff, and plugged in the fridge. It was humming right along. I placed my warm beer alongside the beer she bought. I pulled free a cool can for myself, before returning the 4 steps to the living room. A 19-inch TV set was blaring in the corner. The reception looked crystal clear. I saw no rabbit ears or antenna of any kind. "Holy shit, does that thing get cable?" "Sure does," Red grinned. "Can't find a remote, though. Here, have a seat." She patted the cushion beside her on the couch. When I sat down, I didn't sink. No springs creaked or jabbed my ass. "Here, Eddie, have a seat." Alright. No, you can't cheat. No cheating. No cheating. Alright. So we're watching cable. Ye doggy, watch cable. Alright. Sure does. Gets freaking cable. Didn't jab my ass. Okay. I looked around. The white walls displayed no signs of cracks, divots, or holes of any kind. Briefly, I reflected on how well I had slept the night before. Yes, this place, although weather-worn on the outside, had been well taken care of on the inside. The little guest house had been furnished with newer, or at least nicer, second-hand furniture. Perhaps hand-me-downs from Jerry's place. The bathroom faucet hadn't run rusty that morning, and somehow I doubted the fold-up table in the kitchen would wobble. I had never lived so well in my life, right, Eddie? Shit, that's like the freaking high life, man. You ever been down and out? That's pretty good shit. Alright, we live in the high life. We're living so well in my life. We drank and smoked and fucked and watched TV. Red fried breakfast for dinner and Sonny stopped by with paint. Red and I drank late into the night. We screwed into early morning. Red was still asleep when I woke, so I took her pack of cigarettes into the eat-in kitchen where I set up the typer. There I opened a bottle of wine and lit up. I started poking at the keys and words began to flow. There I sat, banging away at the keys, TV blaring, radio. We had discovered a radio in the closet, playing a classical music station. A sweet breeze carrying cigarette smoke out the window when a knock sounded at the door. Shit. Make yourself useful, woman. I'm in a zone. The floor bounced as Red went to answer the door. It's for you, old man. God damn it. I went to see who it was and found Bill Witherton standing outside. He immediately got to the point. Becker, we are a little concerned. Concerned about what? Eddie's concerned about the freaking laser pointer. Alright. Witherton's concerned. Concerned about what? Concerned about what? Alright. Shit, where'd I go? Concerned about what? Mother and I are a little concerned that you haven't started painting yet. Oh, I've started painting all right. Bill glanced at the exterior of the guest house. Sure could have fooled me. There isn't a single drop of fresh paint that I can see. In fact, the paint cans are right where I left them. I'm painting one hell of an epic poem. It's about war, death, peace, and old ladies. Not the elderly kind. The kind that suck your soul dry, then fuck your AWOL buddy while commies take pot shots at you. It's coming right along. You read poetry, Bill? You read poetry, Eddie? You read poetry, Bill? Can't say that I do. Give it a try. You might like it. Well, I should get back to work. I'm on a roll. Stop by again sometime. Not so fast, Becker. We hired you to paint a house, not some damn poem. When are you going to start the job? Won't take no time to paint this cracker box. Said so yourself. Don't worry. Don't worry. Shit, where am I at? Don't worry. You're living here rent-free. Mother expects to see you slinging paint. Well, tell your mommy not to get her panties in a bunch. I'll get to it. Frustration creased Bill's brow. When? Tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow. We expected you to start 2 days ago. I needed to get settled in first. Settled in? The place is furnished. I had a box of books. Jesus Christ, books? Have you been drinking, Becker? What's that got to do with anything, Witherton? Look, we'd appreciate it if you start painting the house tomorrow. No problem. Now, I'd appreciate it if you let me return to my typer. Poems don't paint themselves, you know. Fine. Mother will be watching you. Assholes and elbows, that's what she'll see. I closed the door. That Sonny boy, huh? Red said. In the flesh. What's his problem? What's his problem? What's your problem? Turn down that goddamn TV. I'm trying to work. Turn it down yourself. I turned it way down. Red frowned. Now I can't hear shit. Really? I can hear you just fine. Red flipped me the finger, got up and edged up the volume nearly to its original setting. You must not want any pussy later. You must want to go home. Oh, no, you don't. Don't go there. I've got groceries here. I've got beer in the fridge. Thanks for reminding me. I grabbed a cold one for myself. Come on, laptop. I grabbed a cold one for myself. Eddie, you want a cold one? You want a little red dot. That's what you want. I'm going to say that one. That's the last one I got right here close. Alright, I'm going to get one of the red cold ones. Alright, I grabbed a cold one for myself. Red, following right behind me, grabbed a can too. The rest of the night we battled. Me pounding the typer keys, her nudging up the volume on the TV, Eddie trying to get the freaking laser pointer, me trying to keep him from doing it. All kinds of crazy stuff. She was turning up nudging up the volume on the TV, that and cackling loudly at all the dumb fuck shitcom antics she watched on cable. A couple of times I upped the volume on the radio. We competed with each other to drink all the beer. Drink all of it. Right, Eddie? Drink all of it. Alright, we battled to drink all of it. Alright. What in the hell? Alright, we battled to drink all of it. Volume on the beer. I'll drink all the beer. Geraldine Weatherton watched and heard everything from one of our windows. From one of her windows. Shit, she wasn't watching it from our window. She's watching it from her window. Watching it from her window. I could see her fuming through my own living room window as the curtains fluttered pleasantly in the breeze. Pleasantly in the breeze, Eddie. Wow, now we're going to start chapter 6. There's like freaking 14 chapters in this thing. They're like little micro chapters. This is like a 9K story. So, chapter 6. Chapter 6. Right? Alright, chapter 6. What are you still doing here? I live here. The hell you do? As long as I have food in the fridge, I have a right to stay. Red kicked aside the beer cans in search of her clothing. Where did I leave my panties? Hell, woman, I said, you never wore panties. What are you doing? Cooking something to eat. Not my food, you're not. If this is the only way I can get you gone, then hell yes. Red found shorts, pulled them on. The leg holes were large. For ventilation, I assumed. A loose white t-shirt covered her jostling cans. The dye job worked for her when she got a little steamed. I found myself wanting to bed her again. Hold up 1 second, old man. We got a good thing going here, wouldn't you say? Well, how do you figure that? Free cable, free rent, food in the fridge, a few bucks to our names. You're shacked up with a cute young redhead, a not half bad dye job, and I'm boning a poet. Your point? Let's make this work. You've got nowhere else to go. You've got nowhere else to go, do ya? You got nowhere else to go. Shit, no, she don't. You got nowhere else to go. I've got plenty of places to go. Any permanent places? I didn't think so. What about you? You don't start painting this place, you'll be evicted quicker than a St. Bernard that shits the bed. Or freaking Jack Russell, but he's too freaking cute. I can't get rid of him. He's too cute. He tears up all kinds of shit sometimes. He like got into the trash today, but not like real bad. He was like just chewing the corners off of the plastic bag that was in the kitchen in the kitchen trash can. Oh, this is like my third one. Beam and Coke. That's some good stuff. Alright. You all are probably getting bored over here. I'm doing a laser pointer again with Eddie. Because, I mean, if it wasn't for him, you probably wouldn't be listening. I mean, you might, but you'd probably rather just read it yourself. I don't know, but... Alright, so... Come on. God damn... come on. Shit. If you're watching this, the freaking laptop locked on me. Alright. Alright. God damn it, where the hell? We was any permanent places. Okay, the St. Bernard shit to bed. Okay. Leave the witty comebacks to me. Where would you go? Where would you go? Back to her? Hell, you're worse than Weatherton and Mommy Dearest. Answer me. I don't have to answer shit. Well, I don't know. You would get kicked out of this place instead of painting it. And leave all this behind. Leave all this behind. You're really worried, aren't you, woman? Maybe, Red said. Jesus H. Christ on the telephone pole. You aren't going to let up, are you? Red pouted. I do like it here. And I like it when you aren't angry. I like it when you aren't angry. I'm angry all the time. Well, not when you've been drinking, which is most of the time. Damn it, I hate when you're right. Damn it, I hate when you're right. Ow. Your little nails are pretty tough. Look, Red said, painting has to get done. Well, I can't paint right now. I'm not in the mood. I'm not in the mood. You've got to be in the mood to brush on paint? Hell no, I'm talking about the poem. The poem! I've got to strike while the iron's hot. Jesus, shit, old man. This is one of those writer things, isn't it? Fuck you. Red thought a moment, then said, I know what you need. What's that? Time at the track. You get dressed, go bet on the ponies, you'll feel worlds better. Well, maybe you're right. Of course I'm right. What do you plan to do while I'm gone? Paint this house. Really? Yeah, right. Red grinned. Painting is your job. And what, by the way, will you do for money? This place won't require repainting every month, you know. I cut hair. Yeah, I need a haircut. I wrote my most recent manuscript I wrote is it's about like the Charles Manson type commune, a bunch of freaking hippies running around killing people, and so I didn't cut my hair when I was writing that, and I just haven't got a haircut. And Common Press is going to do that one, so stay tuned on that. But Red cuts hair. Red cuts hair. Red cuts hair. And what, by the way, we do for money? I require repainting every. This place I cut hair. Really, you haven't been to work in a week. Oh, I quit the place I was working at. I plan to pound the pavement later today. All the more reason for me to stay and work on my poem. But you can't write, you said. Besides, you like the horses. See? We can make things work. We're already starting to work things out. Well, shit. I went to the racetrack. Number 7. Like I said, there's 14 chapters in this thing. Number 7. Okay, I went to the racetrack. Number 7. I didn't stay. I went to the racetrack, but I didn't stay very long. Alright, I didn't stay very long. I placed a bet a little more than I should have on Hot Pepper in the first race. Damn beast threw a shoe and came in last, so I went searching for Tony Too Small, hoping for a tip. Too Small didn't have any tips that day, or so he said, and I believed him. But what he did have was a request for me to follow him over to Lester's Coffee Corner later for a poetry slam. Well, I don't like coffee except in the morning, I told Too Small. We'll stop at the liquor store for a fifth. We'll make yours Irish coffee. Irish coffee minus the coffee. That's the spirit. Alright. Hey, Too Small, your horse is the favorite in the fourth. Think you could rein him in a little, just enough for rainbow kaleidoscope to inch past? You crack me up, Becker. Tony slapped my back. I should be going. Meet me at concessions later. Meet me at concessions later. God damn, come on, laptop. Meet me. I should have changed that freaking screensaver shit. Timeout time. Alright. Is anybody still watching me at this point? Even Eddie's getting bored, and I got the freaking laser pointer. Woo! Alright. Alright, so I'll meet you at concessions later. Well, I'm going to need to swing by my place, pick up some poems. Sure, or we can grab one of your books over at my place. It's closer. Rein in that pony, I said, as I headed to the betting windows. In the distance, the roar of the next race erupted. I lost again. My latest horse-picking scheme was failing today. I wanted all the fuckers hauled off to the glue factory. All except Rainbow Kaleidoscope. I wanted to put my money down on it, but knew Too Small wouldn't throw the race. I also figured the little fellow would push his horse extra hard just so he could bust my balls about it later. So I put down all but my last bill on Too Small's horse. Son of a gun won. We celebrated with a fifth of whiskey, even though I don't much care for this stuff, and I ended up in the hole for the day. Alright. We stopped by Too Small's place for his copy of Death Takes Its Sweet Time and a couple of beers. After downing a sixer, we went to the Bohemian Hangout. Bohemian Hangout. That's Lester's Coffee Corner. All those coffee people, man, with their freaking Mac laptops. But I got an HP. Alright, so, you don't care about that. Alright, we got his copy of Death Takes Its Sweet Time and a couple of beers. We went to the Bohemian. Okay, everyone sat dressed in black with goatees, styled hair, cups of coffee, talking or reading indie newspapers filled with ads for female and male escorts, gay and lesbian personals, and local news, commentary, and fiction that mainstream families in minivans couldn't give a shit less about. Right? They couldn't give a shit less about that. Come here, Eddie. Come here, Eddie. Alright, so they don't give a shit about them in the papers. I felt like a fish out of water. A fish out of water. But I felt that way virtually everywhere. I felt like a fish out of water. But I felt that way virtually everywhere I went. Everywhere. So it didn't really matter. At least this crowd possessed the potential to appreciate my written word. Only time would tell. Tony got coffee. I got a glass of water and watered a plant in the front window before pouring myself a coffeeless coffee. Tony immediately wanted to introduce me to someone. Two brunette someones. Both appeared to be in mourning, as is the style in certain circles. Ladies, I'd like you to meet Chuck Becker. The breast of the one closest to me hopped as she bounced enthusiastically. I adore your poems, Mr. Becker, she said. Robin and I both do. She held out her hand to me. I'm Caden. Please tell me you're reading tonight. Her delicate, pale hand implied a youthful innocence. Call me Chuck. Mr. Becker is the asshole who beat the hell out of me growing up. Sorry. You will read tonight, won't you? Robin said. Too Small spoke up, inching closer to Robin, a short, stout female. And like her much taller friend who reminded me of Morticia Adams from one of the shitcoms Red and I had been watching. Definitely, Becker, my man, will be reading tonight. That's why I brought him. Yeah, my throat getting scratchy. Definitely, Becker's reading. Becker's the freaking man. Becker's like the Chinaski character. Shit, laptop, come on. Okay, so if you've never read Bukowski, you probably don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But Henry Chinaski character, Chuck Becker's like my version of Henry Chinaski. Alright, lots of fun. Bukowski's Chinaski character, I mean, you gotta love him. Alright, so, but my character's Becker, and they're at the coffee house. And I gotta find my place again. Right, this is a long one. I don't even know if I'll get done with it. Y'all are gonna buy the book anyway, so it don't matter, right? Alright, so alright, I shook hands with Caton. Eddie can shake, but we ain't gonna do that right now. Alright, shook hands with Caton. And her hand, her delicate pale hand implied a youthful innocence. Call me Chuck, my yeah, I already read that part. Call me Chuck, my Mr. Becker is the asshole who beat the hell out of me growing up. Sorry. You will read tonight, won't you? Robin said. Oh yeah, wait, I'm way past that. Yeah, Becker's gonna read tonight because he's freaking awesome. All right, before I could respond, one of Lester's coffee corner lackeys switched on a microphone on stage. Terrible feedback spiked through my skull. Tony and Robin took seats at an empty table. I joined them. Morticia, a.k.a. Caton, pulled a chair around next to mine for a better view of the stage. The poetry slam began with a bitter lesbian mutilating a penis. A thin guy in a turtleneck sweater praised the rectal vagina of his gay lover. Bohemians drank coffee. Tony put moves on Robin. Caton laced her coffee with my whiskey. I drank and listened. Most of the poems weren't too bad. A few were pretty good. A lot referenced genitalia. As the night wore on and the whiskey took hold, it became apparent, at least to me, that the entire room had allowed the local amateurs their slam before coaxing the buzzing veteran to center stage for a call to arms. Backer! Backer! They chanted. Go on, Chuck, Caton urged, squeezing my arm. Everyone wants to hear you read. Yeah, I doubt anyone's even listening to me at this point. I think even Eddie gave up. But everyone wants to hear you read. Oh, that's right. I finished my glass of alcohol and stood up with Too Small's signed copy in hand. Wedding funeral is my favorite, Caton said. I rode a wave of numbness to the microphone. It wasn't the first time I'd read a poem to a crowd, but I treated it as my last, which remained a distinct possibility. You never know, man. I don't know. Maybe you're lucky, but I mean, you gotta like it while it lasts. All right, the applause ended. The microphone screeched. I turned the book right side up, and then I began flipping through pages until I found one of my own genitalia poems to read. These folks wanted to see how I did it. I knew they would be making mental comparisons with their own work, and that, I truly believe, makes all the difference. See, I don't try to mutilate penises any better than the next person. I merely mutilate them in a way that my poems require. I started with a Death rides a pale horse and performs vasectomies, and segued into Stepmother's mastectomy. The crowd loved them. I read a couple smaller poems and later ended with the much longer poem Caton had requested. Eventually words ran dry. Caffeinated ambition eased and the slam ended. Caton absolutely insisted I sign her copies of Death Takes Its Sweet Time and Relationship Witchcraft. Relationship Witchcraft. Come on, freaking laptop. Okay, I'm signing Caton's book. She wants me to sign them, which is freaking awesome because she's like a Morticia Adams, which is freaking hot, you know. She's like a goth hottie, basically. A goth hottie. That's like redundant, goth hottie. And much younger because, like, you know, I never specifically state, but Charlie Becker is basically like a Henry Chinaski when the fame starts to hit. So he's like 50, 60, you know, kind of like that. You got this little goth hottie that's like wanting him to sign her book, so it's pretty freaking hot. And you know that's pretty awesome. That's like about as much as Eddie likes this laser pointer is about how much Charlie Becker would like Caton, because I mean, even though he doesn't like the Addams Family on the freaking shitcoms, you got you know, goth hottie basically. So you know what I'm trying to say. And this is only chapter. All right, we're finishing up chapter 7. There's 14 freaking chapters. I'm only like halfway through the story, so I don't think I'm gonna finish it all. Y'all are gonna buy the book, so it don't matter. Okay, so the applause ended, and the microphone screeched. I turned the book. Wait, I already did that. Relationship, witchcraft. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, Caton wants me to sign her books. Eddie, don't jump down there. Look, it's right there. Okay, so Caton wants me to sign her books. She's freaking hot. She's the goth hottie. So she wants to sign the books. She promised me wine and beer, or we could stop along the way to replace my now empty bottle. Wine and beer would suffice. She had a nice efficiency apartment with black curtains, black furniture, and black cat. Not the little white and brown terrier that's he's awesome too. Okay, she's got a black cat because she's a freaking goth chick. Blah, blah, okay. Okay, she poured us wine and lit a clove cigarette. I lit up my last pilfered smoke from Red's pack. Caton found her books and a pen. Smoke, drink, ink, and words. Everything became a blur except the taste of black licorice lipstick. And I am going to stop there. Halfway through this 9K. It's like a micro novella, really. I mean, the way that Bukowski writes, it's, you know, so condensed. It's like freaking Campbell's condensed soup. You add water and there's twice as much there. But it's 9K. It's you know, y'all are gonna buy the freaking book, so it's. You know, here he is. He's shacked up. He's supposed to be paying this freaking guest house. He's got this younger woman living with him. And now he's just like got this even younger, hotter woman living, putting the moves on him. They're making out. Eddie's wanting to freaking chase this laser pointer. I drank too much. I need to piss. And so y'all are going to read the. You're going to buy the book before you read the book. But, and then I probably need to get a haircut at some point. And y'all are going to get Third Eye High from Comet Press when that sumbitch comes out. Which I don't know yet when yet. But, that's only halfway through Shackjob. That's my Bukowski tribute story. And I hope you all enjoyed enough of it to get the book and read the other half of this awesome story to figure out what kind of shit Becker gets into after he, makes out with this goth hottie, and he's got the redhead living with him, and freaking Mommy Dearest and Sunny Boy wanting him to paint the house. So, goddamn laptop. I should have changed the screensaver on that sumbitch. I hope that recorded. But, you buy it, that's coming out in March from Perpetual Motion Machine Publishing is Long Distance Drunks, a tribute to Charles Bukowski, the late great Charles Bukowski. Thanks for joining me and Eddie.